In Israel, the city of Boston observes a moment of silence today, 1 week after 2 bombs went off at the Boston Marathon. Meanwhile, investigators are learning more about the suspects, even as they try to communicate with the one left alive. 19-year-old Johar Sarnev is listed in serious but stable condition today. Heather Sells has the latest.
19-year-old Johar Sarnev is unable to speak because of a neck injury, but has been able to respond sporadically to questions in writing. Investigators are trying to learn what motivated him and his brother's alleged involvement in the Boston Marathon attack and whether they had any help.
I'm not convinced at all that they're planning more attacks. I mean, that's hearsay. I haven't got information about that, but, we have to be vigilant.
But the city's police commissioner says a large store of weapons indicates they probably were planning more destruction.
They clearly had other explosives. They detonated those explosives at the scene of the arrest and shootout in Watertown. We feel that they had plans to use those explosives, possibly on soft targets.
Investigators are also trying to piece together whether the two brothers acted alone or as part of a larger sleeper cell. The investigation is prompting renewed concerns about the FBI's effectiveness in monitoring homegrown terrorists. The FBI questioned Tamerlan Tsarnaev at the request of Russian security services in 2011, but closed the case. Now we're learning that the 26-year-old traveled overseas to Russia and Chechnya just last year.
Somehow he got off the radar screen and traveled overseas to one of the most dangerous parts of the world.
But the fact is, we've stopped 16 plots in New York because we know that al-Qaeda has shifted its tactics. It's not going to be attacking us from overseas. We've been able to prevent that. They are getting people in our country who are under the radar screen.
In Boston, many of the victims from last week's bombing are still recovering in the hospital. The city as a whole is also looking for ways to recover from a week that has left many shaken, confused, and angry.
Forgiveness does not mean that we do not realize the heinousness of the crime, but in our own hearts, when we are unable to forgive, we make ourselves a victim of our own hatred.
Bostonians are taking a collective minute to remember and reflect at 2:50 p.m. today. That's the exact moment 1 week ago when the first bomb went off. Heather Sells, CBN News.